And over here, it happens to be the 14th of Tammuz this week, Yud Dalet Tammuz, marks the Hilula of a famous Yemenite rabbi. His name was Harab מארי, David ben Shlomo Mashraki, Zecher Tzadik Libracha, one of the great rabbis of his time. I believe he was born in the English year around 1696 and passed away in the year 1770. Very, very great rabbi. And I think we mentioned him on various occasions on this series before. He would go on, let's say, become a Posek, great Yemenite Posek, rabbi that would render Jewish law. He would educate within regards to the code of Jewish law of Rabbi Yosef Karo inside there. Most notably, his sefer called the Shtile Zaitim at Shulchan Arokh on the code of Jewish law. That will be his Torah colossal work on that book. Let's explore a few of the highlights or the famous rabbis. Like there's much we can say within regards to him. Now, it's actually interesting. He headed, I think, a school that was, let's say, was a transition school where they would educate within regards to Torah at a high level. It says actually in Hebrew over here, just using the Wikipedia article. Amad barosh askola shekibla vashlima im hashinuyim shechadro כ-200 שנה קודם לתקופתו ליהודית תימן. So it was really basically a school education system over there where there was accepted, let's say, a change had penetrated in Yemenite Jewry, so they would do that. I think it was the changes really started about 200 years before his time, especially in the field of halachic rulings and with regards to tefillot specifically. So he was heading it, I think at that point in time, there's Nusach HaShamai, which is really in the central of Teman, but we can talk much more within regards to that afterwards. Now, it's actually interesting. He would have a star student, his title also popularly known as the Maharitz, Rabbi Yahya ben Yosef Salah, one of the great rabbis, let's say, the greatest scholars of Yemenite Judaism, without a doubt. He was, I think, was a head of the court, a rabbi in Sana'a, respectively, especially during the 18th century. So the Maharitz himself would not accept the changes that, let's just say, in Tefillot or what it might have been, that Rabbi David Mashriki would, albeit. So that's very interesting. Also, tidbit. I think the Maharitz himself believed that Yemenite Jews should return to the rulings of the Rambam and pray according to the tefillah of the Rambam, respectively, over there. That's what he would be. He would argue back against it. But seemingly, the great Rabbi Mashriki would actually be in favor of educating within our code of Jewish law at that point in time. As they say, lefi hatachla'al, that's what's actually called within regards to the tefillah of the Rambam. Okay, now, more can be said within regards to that. He apparently was, I believe, according to opinions, a Talmid of his grandfather, Mari Aaron Mashraki, and his father, Rabbi Shlomo. They were very, very great rabbis, and I think they would learn along with the great judge, Mari Salah ben Yechia, and was another great rabbi that we mentioned about on various occasions before inside this series. He would be working in the Beit Knesset as a rabbi in the Beit Knesset. Shalom Araki, very, very great rabbi. He would actually work inside the synagogue. He lived himself, I think, between the years 1685 to 1780. The great rabbi did. He was one of the great rabbis, I think, of Teman. I think it was in the Beit Alosta, if I'm not mistaken. It was one of the great Beit Knesset, the old part of the, let's say, the large square of the Jewish community in Sinai in Teman. It was a prominent position I think he would take on, and it was in an official capacity, I think. And also, he would become a shochet and an examiner also within regards to kashrut. So on the realm of kashrut field, he would take on various different important roles within regards to kashrut of his area. We stated that his main talmid was the famous Maharitz, which maybe we're going to speak about in a few minutes towards the end of the class within regards to a bit more information about the famous Rabbi Yechia Salah also. He was, I believe, that, as we stated before, he was, I think, the first Yemenite rabbi to interpret, let's say, the words of Shulchan Arokh, to actually write a commentary on it. And it had been circulated several generations before him, but he very much would, I believe, publish a work, and a very, very great Torah colossal work. It was one that would give the commentary on it, the first ones. And I think for generations they had been looking into this, but he was finally the person, the great rabbi, that would do it. Just a few more things we can add within regards to him. Very, very important to say about the book. This was a perush, as I say, on the Code of Jewish Law, which really, really delved into it. I think his commentary differs from other commentators. It makes it easier for the, let's say, the learner with this commentary. It's a continuation of a language which goes on, flows on from the Shulchan Aruch and the Ramah. And I think it's read in a sequence, in a concise manner he made it in, explaining the different opinions of the Code of Jewish Law. Even if there is no, let's say, specific Yemenite custom that matches it, but he will still speak about it. He will cite additional laws, I think, in brief context and customs that are consistent with the method of Maran HaShulchan Aruch, from the words of Poskin or from his own opinion. And I think it's reported over he would omit some of the words that are Ramah in cases which Ashkenazi side customs were cited, in order, once again, for it to make it easier for the Yemenite to read, I believe, within regards to that. And it had huge, wide circulation among the, let's say, influential Yemenite rabbis of his time. I think there was famous Yemenite Rabbi Shlomo Amar, if I'm not mistaken, continued like the path of his and write a commentary also on the Shulchan Aruch, I think on Eben Ezer. He also called it, Rabbi Shlomo Amar, the Shtili Zeitim. And I think it was recently reprinted, if I'm not mistaken. Now, he wrote another Torah colossal work, I think in his time, the famous rabbi did. This was called the Ravit Azahav. This was a shut. Shelot Shvot, question and answers on the Code of Jewish Law, on Shulchan Aruch, respectively. So this was another important work. I think it was different to Shtili Zeitim. I think in this book he will discuss the issues of the Gemara and the words of the Rishonim and the Achronim with a great amount of care, and will explain at length the reasons which led him to compose this, especially in the preface, at the introduction of the book. Now, there was another book that he would actually publish, the Rashi Besamim. Now, once again, on the Code of Jewish Law, specifically on Yoredea, which really would, until Siman Kuf Yud, so really encompassing, especially Isur V'Heta inside this book, the laws of Isur V'Heta. So I very much recommend everyone to look into that. Well, as we said before, he grew up really among great rabbis in Yemen, especially his grandfather, Rabbi Aaron Mashriki, would study under his father, Rabbi Mari Shlomo Mashriki, and from the famous Rabbi Mari Sela bin Yehia. Also, during his time, as we said before, he was a B'dika, he was a Shochet. He would also serve as the head of the yeshiva, the Rosh Yeshiva Al-Usta synagogue, which I think this synagogue was actually founded by Mari Shalom Ibn Aaron al-Araki, another great rabbi. He would have many students, including his son, Rabbi Mari Yichya Mashraki, and Rabbi Mari Yesela, as mentioned before, the Maritz. He would be his Talmud. And he would, as was stated before, he would bring the Jewish community of Teman closer to the rulings of Chacham Yosef Karo, the author of the Code of Jewish Law. He really felt that the Yemenite sages of the previous generation relied very much on Maimonides. And maybe one of the reasons of this was that there was scarcity of books in that generation within regards to different realms, if I'm not mistaken, and really would be an advocate also of Yemenite customs in his time. And we'll talk really about the importance of Sephardic text prayers and liturgy within regards to the Sephardic community. Now, according to some people, his Hilula is on the 14th of Tammuz. I believe they would mark this date as his Hilula, because I think another one of his descendants had passed away on that specific date, Rabbi David Ben Shlomo Mashraki, the Rashi Basam book, which very much about, according to Wikipedia over here, from what I see, he had passed away on, there's another opinion saying that he passed away on the 14th of Tammuz. It was, I think, July the 7th, if I'm not mistaken, in the year 1770. So that would have been Yud Daled Tammuz. So there's differing opinions on the actual date of his passing, which we also have to point out. So that's there's different opinions. So I think he did pass away actually on that specific date, if I'm not mistaken. It was on the 14th of Tammuz, according to most opinions. But please, anyone that wants to confirm that with me, please, I would really appreciate it. So that's, I think it's, there'll be a Rabbi David Ben Shlomo Mashraki, that will definitely pass. There'll be a Rabbi David Mashraki that would have passed around that date, but please confirm with regards to that. His books will come out, I think, in print after he passed away, after several generations, Shtili Zeitim. I think that came out in the year 1885, so that was way after he passed away. That was printed in Jerusalem. There was another, the Rosh Besamim on the Eurodea, I think up to Kufyud, was printed, and Rabbi Zahav. I think this was all came out in the year 1895, if I'm not mistaken. So this was way after he passed away. And then I think another book would be printed in the year 1955, if I'm not mistaken, maybe in Alexandria, but I'll have to double check on that. Let's explore through the highlights of the book, just using the sources from the Haimi website over there. It says over here inside the book, in the Shtili Zeitim, in pages 91 to 92. I think this was maybe a reprint in Petach Tikva in the year 2004. It says, Melamed shebechiluk hasrot nishkacha Torah v'lo yeda halomed darko. That's a nice teaching. Melamed shelo yishna shkolo la'achriya ben hadeot ela leda'at ma la'asot. This is actually featured, I think, Amud 102 in the first volume of the Shtili Zeitim. Then another teaching is Melamed lachasot rosham betalit kol she'at tefillot shemachnia lev adam. It's in Shtili Zeitim. I think page number 47 is featured there. Melamed shetafso kaddish ma'omed lo yeshev ad amen yeheshmei rabba. Teaching about the laws with regards to kaddish, the tefillah, which we say inside the synagogue over there. And another and then another teaching over there. It says Melamed shnit pashto dinei shulchan Arוך manigo b'kol ha'arzot. It's just another teaching. I think this actually comes from page 99 to 100 of the book of the Shtili Zeitim. And a final teaching to look. Melamed shelo Torah kama Torot ve'eno elesh ha'emet racha. This is from Shtili Zeitim, page number 93, featured inside the book. So, friends, I believe, according to some opinions, it was on Yud Dalet Tammuz. Here's Sulula. It's please, anyone knows more information, please confirm. Now, friends, we're a community here. We're learning about the famous rabbis of yesteryear. We've already covered a staggering 1,100 videos of different rabbis with the only online encyclopedia, pretty much, in the English language, exploring the videos of the famous Oriental Spanish rabbis of yesteryear. If you haven't subscribed yet to the channel, please subscribe to the channel now. We are nearing, at the moment, 7,000 subscribers, which is a phenomenal achievement. If anyone's interested in watching these videos, please share these videos to other people also and help grow the channel. And if you descend from any of these rabbis, please let me know. Wish you all a fantastic day. Take care and be well, friends.